What's good, YouTube? Cardfight King here, AQUA Life Baby. You already know how it is. So today got them very excited to bring you guys finally a long-awaited deck profile on Nightrose. A lot of you have been asking for this. But first and foremost, I want to say definitely welcome Nightrose to the AQUA Life family. She is the newest member to the AQUA Life family, to the AQUA Life rotation. She actually heads the competitive deck rotation right now. Very excited to have her as the newest addition. You guys know I've had the deck for quite a while. When it first came out, then I upgraded it with the support from the previous set. Never deck profiled it, but I never committed to deck. But now, school is done with. I can get back into the competitive scene of Vanguard. Upgraded her with the Rummy Labyrinth support over this weekend, as you guys saw in my previous video on my tournament report from this past weekend. And I love this deck. I just absolutely love this deck. I'm not a true blue Granblue player. Granblue can always use some more bubbles in my opinion. But this deck, I just love it. I've liked Nightrose when she came out. I'm so happy that I've really decided to commit to her and, really commit to playing her and playing her well and competitively and whatnot. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy about this deck. This deck is complicated. The deck is definitely complicated. I misplay heavily with it, and even if I don't misplay, I sometimes make more suboptimal plays. Trying to I guess go for more push plays instead of advantage at times, advantage over push plays and things like that. And some misplays, I forget. Sometimes the cost. Sometimes not looking at my drop zone, things like that. I do little misplays here and there, but again, it's still fun learning this deck. It's a complex deck. It's not a deck you can just pick up and play, with a big area of forgiveness like decks like Luard have. It's just one of those decks that you have to sit down and play with. But I love this deck's flexibility with their matchup knowledge, with your main deck, what you can add in, what you can take out, depending on what you're seeing in the meta. This deck just has so much going for it. And it's trust me, if you're thinking about building the deck, build it. It's worth building and learning. It's a harder learning curve than I believe a lot of other decks have, but it's worth it. Definitely worth it. You get a lot of reward for learning this deck. And I did play her in the tournament yesterday, my Monday locals. Did pretty good. Again, I'm keeping a little personal record myself, but I'll talk about that later on. But I'll just give a quick tournament report for it. Round 1 played against Pale Moon. It was an artilleryman build. Was able to win that 2-0. I just out advantaged him both games and was able to push pretty hard. In round 2, played against Harry Pale Moon. Again, game 1 I was able to out advantage and push. Game 2 I had to G assist for a grade 1 and then G assist for a grade 3, but I was able to use Gouch defensively. I call him Young Gucci defensively, and build up my hand, build up some advantage till I can guard. Negro Lazy Lily definitely saved me in that matchup, and then I was able to push for game with Songer. And then round 3 played against Luard. Game 1 I lost because I misplayed, and then I just played super defensively. I couldn't really push too much, and he had already got his engine started and whatnot. It was just an ugly game from my part because of my mistake. And then game 2 I was able to win because I was able to correct my mistake, execute my strategy to what I wanted to do, and then go in. So yeah, definitely. And then we ended up tying because when the time, and for some reason in our locals, tie, when you tie, is considered a double loss. And then they cut to top 8 after that, or top 4 after that, and then I ended up getting 4th place or 5th place. I didn't top because the people I beat didn't have good records, something like that. It's another story for another day. But so far, did really well. We have, we've taken one total loss in on Sunday, but everywhere else we got a tie, and we've got a nice collection of wins. So I'm very excited to be getting off to a good foot with this deck. And so without further ado, let's get started. All right, so starter is Grenache, pretty much hollow and he has a hollow ability, and when he dies by his hollow ability at GB1, countercharge 2. I learned that, you know, keeping him in the soul is really good because it fills more soul. It keeps, you know, more soul for your gouge turn, and you know, I guess it's a little bit easier to get him to the drop zone, call him back out. I'm still trying to find better ways to combo with him, but you guys let me know, how do you guys like to use him? When do you like to bring him out mostly? I have trouble kind of, you know, really going into him mid to late game. That's when I usually, you know, inherently, you know, and I'm, you know, it's a habit of mine to go for pushes, but let me know how you guys use him. For heal triggers, obviously, love my Dr. Rouge, and the Marionette girl, I need to change to Dr. Rouge, but she's upstairs somewhere. For Mick the Ghosty. Mick the Ghosty is a really good stand trigger. Hollow, and when you bring it out from the drop zone, you put it in hollow, give 10,000 to a unit, and at the, you know, whenever it leaves the rearguard circle, it goes to the bottom of the deck, and then you shuffle or something like that. Very good card. I understand that June 1st, the Japanese are getting this card. Japanese list is going to get this card limited to 1. I'm an advocate for a ban list, huge advocate for a ban list, restriction list here in the States, you know, a much bigger one to help shape competitive formats. But if this does go to 1 here, and, you know, I kind of hope it does in a way, you know, to show that they, you know, care about a competitive aspect of the game, just replace 3 with crits and then move on from there. Definitely. But he's a very, very good card, and, you know, if you got him at 4, you play him at 4. Also, he definitely combos with Nightrose to give her 10k defense with the Lazy Lily combo. Definitely really good. For Banshee, no real explanation needed on Banshee. Goes into Soul, draw a card, use her on gouge turns to get advantage, and use her to find things early game if, you know, you are not trying to misride and you're trying to find your grade 3s and whatnot. And then for Nightrose, crit triggers. Again, another card you can use to gain advantage with Gouge. Just an overall, you know, really good, solid card. And it's a Nightrose deck. You play the Nightrose crits. All right, grade 1. All right, so grade 1s. We got for Water Spout Jin. I like this unflip. I haven't tried out the Hollow PG yet. I'm not exactly sold on her, you know, on her viability over his unflip. But again, that's up to testing. If you guys have tested or played the new Hollow Perfect Guard, definitely tell me about it. Tell me how you use it. Tell me, you know, what advantages it provides over Dijin, you know, going into late game, maybe even early game. Just, you know, let me know what you think about that Perfect Guard and possibly why you choose it over Dijin. I want a nice detailed explanation. You know, I read the comments and I always comment. So, 4 stride enablers, it's a stride deck, gotta be able to stride and get the correct Nightrose in your hand. I don't really like riding Starlight, and I'll tell you why later, but you know, I really search for old school Nightrose so I can get that going. For Bone's definitely a key card, one of the key cards in this deck, Negro Bone. So what he does is that at GB1, at the end of the battle that he boosted a unit, you can blow that unit, counterblast 1, blow that unit up, superior call, something else from your drop zone to any rearguard circle. Now, the reason why I, you know, like him, I like him in combination with this card, Bale the Ghosty. Bale is, when you call him from the drop zone, if you have a Nightrose Vanguard, he gets 2k. And then if you know, he's destroyed during the battle phase, you can send him to the bottom of the deck and countercharge 1. So using him in conjunction is very nice. Being able to get off a nice 16k attack, force a 10k on force 10k shield on my opponent's hand when I attack the Vanguard, and then I get to pretty much counterblast 1, pop him, call something else, his ability, unflip a damage. So I can definitely get off some nice plays around one counterblast. So awesome card. I do like Bale the Ghosty. Definitely a good card. Haven't been a big fan of Fail Shade. I tried her out and she didn't really work out for me as well as I, you know, had hoped she would, but I did see some plays I can make with her. It's just that I wasn't running her at a number, or I wasn't in a position where I, you know, saw her be, you know, for her best usage. All right, on to grade 2. All right, so for grade 2, I'm running 3 copies of Negro Lazy. I really like this card. This is one of the key cards of the deck. Sets up your defensive combos and all that stuff with Lily. But Negro Lazy, Glimmer Breath Clone. When you call him to the board, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. I get to call a grade 2 or less card to the board. And then he gets +2. He gets plus 2,000. He becomes 11k. And if he is in hollow, because he does have the hollow ability, then I get to, at the end of the turn when he dies by his hollow ability, I get to countercharge 1 and soul charge 1. So he pays for himself. That's very, very good. Again, he sets up a lot of your offensive combos. He sets up your defensive combos. This card is just an outstanding card by any stretch of imagination. Just an outstanding card. And I'm trying to get better with using him. Like sometimes it's like, okay, I have a Grenache on the board and I'm going to unflip a lot of damage already, so I don't need to put him in hollow just yet, especially if I have soul, so I can keep him on board for the defensive turn. Then I can, do things with. So I'm trying to get better with using him. 2 copies of Cannoneer. I think I might increase him to 3. Cannoneer is a really good card. Definitely great in the Luard matchup. When you call him from the drop zone, you can counter. He is hollow. You can counterblast 1, destroy a card, and then if he's in hollow, you can draw a card. Just a very solid, outstanding card. A lot of usages. Was great against Pale Moon, destroying a card that got tagged with the stand trigger. Against Luard, definitely was able to help me knock out a card in his back row and keep his counterblast limited, so that and force him into the Luard stride and things like that. Definitely an outstanding card. Wrong one. Where are you at? Maltreat Shade. Maltreat Shade, I do like her. She is a new unit from Romeo Labyrinth, hollow, and her ability is at GB1. If she dies by the hollow ability and I have a Nightrose Vanguard, I can send her to the bottom of the deck and countercharge 1. Her other ability is she gets 2,000 power for every other unit that's in the hollowed state. So she's an okay card. I'm thinking that I could cut her for another one of him and possibly another Negro Rook, or cut one other card. But she's okay, but there might be better options. So my grade 2 lineup is definitely still in the testing phases. But so far, it's okay. But so 2 Negro Rooks, very simple card. Hollow. He's an 11k attacker when he attacks an opponent's Vanguard at GB1, and if he's in the hollow state, he becomes a 16k attacker because he gets 5k. Definitely an outstanding card. Nice beater. Probably the best card you can call out with the Negro, the Negro Songer combo plays. He can hit astronomical numbers. Just an outstanding card overall. And I'm definitely thinking of putting 3 copies of him in the deck, as well as Cannoneer. 2 copies of King Serpent. I was running 1 King Serpent, but there were some times where I'm just having trouble getting to him without without going into the ghosty and whatnot. I like to see him early game. I like to see him to get my combo started off, especially on the gouge turn. So and then there's another combo I did where I brought out 2 King Serpents in 1 turn. He can actually help you if you're ending your turn or something, and he's on the field getting destroyed. You could bring him back, countercharge 1, and then go into other things you can do. Just there's things that he does that you can do that I like, and I totally butchered that, but he's a good card. Unflips damage and countercharges 1. He countercharges 1 and soul charges 1 when you bring him back from the drop zone. So there, very good card. And then even if he's 8k. And then I played 1 poker only because, I just wanted to prepare myself a little bit for the Chaos matchup or Messiah matchup. I know that Messiahs were gaining a little bit more popularity nowadays, so I wanted to be ready. Put poker in the deck. I can G-Guard with Dismal, which is only reason really why I run a Dismal in this deck. G-Guard with Dismal, so that I can use poker, search him out with like Ghosty or whatever it is. Or if I stride in the Sea Breeze, I can in that matchup I can Tech Ride Sea Breeze. And if I have poker after possibly after the ghosty turn, something like that, then I can set him up. But it's more about just finding ways to set him up so that in the Link Joker matchup, which is just definitely a slower matchup, I can find ways to get him into the drop zone to set him up for that. But I personally haven't played Link Joker or seen it really being played in tournaments, at least the 2 that I went to, so he's probably going to come out soon. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about my grade 2 lineup. All right, on to grade 3. All right, grade 3 lineup. Very simple. For Nightrose, old school Nightrose, OG. Love her. Love this new artwork. Like her sitting on her queen-like throne. She is the queen. GB2 ability, mill 3, once per turn, mill 3, and call a card that was, retired from the rearguard circle back onto the board. Her ruling on her ability is that if all of them retire at the same time, then you didn't have a choice. But if your card goes one at a time, then the first card that goes, you have to choose whether to activate her ability or not. If you don't activate her ability, then you cannot use that ability for the rest of the turn because her condition is being met. So just fair warning for that. You guys saw that in the last video. Serpent died. And then Bone died, and I wanted to bring back Bone, but you just can't do that. And then I checked it afterwards, and it's true. And then 3 copies of Starlight Nightrose. I don't have Nightstorm. I know I can just order him. He's like 25 cents, but no one had him, and I've been working pretty nicely without him so far. But I am going to try and get a copy and try him out. But Starlight Nightrose, if I'm going to ride something, I'd rather, not ride her. I'd rather ride old school, but she's an okay card. She has hollow. Her GB2 is, when she's on the field, when another unit is called to the board, I can Soul Blast 1, call a grade 1 in the same column as she is. And then her other ability is on stride. I can mill the top 3, call a card out, and if that card has hollow, give it plus 3k. So, interesting card, but she doesn't allow the defensive combos that old school Nightrose does allow. Alright, and on to grade 4. Alright guys, so for the stride deck, 1 Deep Corpse Dragon, simple Fires Collection G Guardian, mill 2, gain 5k shield. I like this card a lot. Negro Mode. Negro Mode's a really good card from the Rummy Labyrinth set. Pretty much its ability is that when you guard with it, you can Soul Blast 1, and if you have 5 cards in your drop zone, it becomes 31k. It becomes a 20k shield. If you have 10 cards, 25. If you have 15 cards, 30. So this card can, definitely can easily scale, and is a very good late game and mid game G Guardian, very good one. And I'm definitely considering playing 2 of this card. Fantastic. 1 copy of Dismal. I'm mostly running him just because for the poker play, but I do see some merit in him in a way. I can use him to, defend a bone on the field, help protect against like VMAX turns and things like that. So definitely a pretty nice card. But again, I'm still considering taking him out. And then I'm playing 2 copies of Negro Lily. She is the defensive star of the deck. Her and Negro Lazy, definitely defensive stars of the deck. So her ability is that when you place in the guard circle, you counterblast 1, you destroy a card on your board, and then you call out a normal ghosty unit, right? So then, and then she gains 10k. Then she gains 10k shield. So she'll become 25k shield. Fantastic. But so you combo her with Lazy. You pop Lazy, grab a ghosty, use Nightrose, old school Nightrose's GB2 ability, bring back Lazy. Lazy's ability, bring out either the Cannoneer to pop a card to shut down an offensive turn and draw, or you bring out the stand trigger, give Nightrose plus 10,000 defense, putting her at 21, and then the stand trigger goes back into the deck. Lazy counter charges, soul charges, and then goes to drop zone, and then proceed to your turn. So very nice card overall. Playing the Seabreeze, obviously, it's G deck. Playing Obadiah on stride. Look through your deck, pick 3 cards out, send them to the drop zone. If you sent 2 or more with hollow, bring a normal ghost unit from your drop zone and put it behind him. Definitely a very solid card. Helps you set up. If your drop zone's fugly, he helps you set up. Very nice card overall. Dragoot. I like Dragoot. He's an okay card. I only find you're gonna use 1 in a duel or match. Pretty much what it is counterblast 2 and discard 1. and then you choose up to the number of cards from your drop zone as the number of rear guards that you have and call them to the board. And then for every unit with the hollow ability that you called from his ability, your opponent, you retire a card on your opponent's board. Your opponent chooses one of his or her cards and retires it, excuse me. And if your opponent has no rear guards, then you get to draw a card. So he's a pretty nice card, but he is Counterblast 2, discard 1. So it's a pretty heavy cost, but it's pretty good if your opponent is low in hand, but pretty decent sized field. He can potentially be a board wipe. So, it is what it is. But Counterblast 2 is expensive, so I'm still trying to find the best way to make usage of him. So if you guys have any tips, obviously put them down. 4 copies of Negro Songer. I love this card. I think it's possibly one of the most undervalued strides I've seen in a long time. She's only like $6. So what her ability is that at the end of the battle that she attacked, you counterblast 1, discard a card, and then look at the top 4 cards of your deck, put one in your drop zone, and then choose a card from your drop zone, call it out, and it gets 5,000 power for every face-up card in your G zone. That is outstanding. She is my game ender. I go into her when I'm pushing for game, call out like a Negro Rook, and if I have like 3 cards face up, then that's plus 15k. I know some people use her as a first stride turn, as a first stride card. I like personally going into Gouch right now. But, using her definitely mid and late game is outstanding. I mean, I've pumped up cards by plus 30k. She's just an outstanding card overall, and I'm definitely glad that, definitely welcome addition to the Stride deck. Definitely welcome addition. And then last but not least, I got Young Gucci. Gouch, but I call him Young Gucci. That's my name for him. So Young Gucci. So what his ability is that on Stride, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, and then you can Soul Blast as many cards as you want, and then superior, or up to 5, excuse me, and then you superior call from your drop zone the same amount that you Soul Blasted. Now remember, guys, on Stride, your Soul Blast 1 is a part of the cost for his ability. Then you just follow it in a sequence of orders. If they Soul Blast a total of 4 cards from his soul, they can revive 3 because one of them was the cost to initiate his effect. So yeah, so you Soul Blast that 1 card, then you Soul Blast 3, you bring out 3. But he's a very good first stride card, very good card. I like using him. He's very good defensively and aggressively. You can use him in multiple ways depending on the game state. Just a very outstanding card. And for each face-up card in your G-Zone, the units that are called by his ability gain 1,000 power. So I do like to use him as a first stride, give my field, a tiny little 1k boost, and then, go into him, maybe go into him mid-game after I've built up some more soul. I kind of like to go into him, then Songer and whatnot. But after I built up some soul, whatever, go back into him, call things out, and then push forward. Yeah, definitely a fantastic card. I really enjoy using this card overall. But yeah, that's the deck, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. I know some of you were like, where's the grade 4 Nightrose at? I'm not her biggest fan at all. She could see a return to the deck depending on maybe how some testing is going. But I just don't see her really working on the deck. Never really liked her, mostly because it's a Counterblast 2 and Counterblast 2, call 2 units to different rows, but they don't gain any power. She's kind of meh, very expensive for kind of meh. So that's that. But hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile, tournament report and whatnot. I'll definitely bring a lot more videos of Nightrose out, and hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys continue to see my improvement with this deck. And I hope you guys will help me along the way. All right, Cardfight King, AQUA Life Baby. Welcome to the AQUA Life family, Nightrose, and we out. Young Gucci.